I'm Sarah Starr, and this is your space weather forecast for the day. Today, we are talking about the X1.5 solar flare that we had erupting from the sun. We're also going to talk about Venus and Chiron working together, and then Mars and Pluto are square today. Our sun has been explosive ever since region 3697 came onto the sun. It is now leaving, so we have nothing to worry about until 2 more weeks until we see exactly what this looks like. But it gave us an M9.7, an X1.5, and then another M9.5 on top of that before it headed off of the limb of the sun. This region gave us several geomagnetic storms, sent us into several radio blackouts, and it's still on our charts today. So 3697 will be gone tomorrow. It will be renumbered as it heads onto the sun in the next 2 weeks, but we have that 25% chance of having another X-class flare from 3697. There will be 0 Earth-directed components, such as with this M flare, also the X flare, and the other M flare stacked on top of that. There are no Earth-directed components, and our sun is going to be fairly quiet after we have 3697 leave the region of the sun. So although we have numerous sunspots still on our sun, the only one that had a high probability of giving us anything was that 3697 that is left now in replace of 3603. So it has rotated off of the limb of the sun. Now the only other region that could give us a probability, and we're going to watch out for, is 3709. Now there's only 1% chance of having an X-class flare from here, or a 15% chance of having an M-class flare from here. You know, there's really not much to report on, so we're going to have low and slow solar weather from here on out until something more develops. Now, there was a possible filament lift off that happened in our northeastern quadrant, but they're saying that the CME that is shown on the LASCO is going to have 0 Earth-directed components due to the location and the far-sighted bulk of the plasma heading off in that direction. But we do have a couple of these coronal holes that are forming, mainly Earth-facing, and a couple of these filaments. So we're seeing that not many of these are going to have a chance to lift off, but we are watching a couple of these ones that are newer on the sun now. These are solar protons. Now, what happens with this is when we have a coronal mass ejection with a lot of plasma and a lot of protons, which is a lot of mass, a lot of heaviness on the human body, we jump into these solar radiation storms. Now, we already jumped up into these S3 strong solar radiation storms before we started dipping back down. We are going to have some slightly enhanced proton levels, but they are going to be below the minor solar S1 radiation storm levels, which is very nice. And as you can see on the chart, our solar radiation storm levels have definitely died down. There's nothing left on the graph. They lasted for a couple of days, a little bit of heaviness, a little bit of squaring off with the planets, and kaboom, there it goes. So now enjoy the low and slow time that we are going to have for a little bit. Now, we were in that type 2 radio blackout. This is where it is right now. This is due to that M9.5 flare, and this is the remnants of it now. It will continue to move throughout the day, but it is going to die back down because we're not really having any more large solar flares, so yay. This is the 3-day geomagnetic forecast. Yesterday, we were supposed to reach into those KP6 levels into a moderate geomagnetic storm. Did not happen. We did get a small interplanetary shock jumping up into those 565 active levels, just warning us that it could go into a minor geostorm level, but it did not. So instead, we saw the arrival of the CME from the 8th kind of pop up before we started decreasing. We're going to start decreasing even more down into these 300 kilometer per second ranges midday, and then just kind of die off. Because this is what we're presented with for today, tomorrow, and the next day. So today, yet again, we are going to be low and slow, and it's just going to die down from there. So it's a wonderful time to just recollect yourself. If you needed that rehab and rehabilitation, repair yourself, this is the time. Time out. This is break time. So we had a lot of light that was coming in, and when that happens, you could feel dehydrated and drained, just completely exhausted, red and blurry eyes. You know, the symptoms can go on and on and on, and they are different for each individual. You could have experienced a lot of energy and a lot of lightness during that exact time, but yet again, it is circumstantial with everybody. We also had a lot of other energy that was incoming due to the moon being in Cancer and then switching into Leo. And now we have a whole bunch of new energy at play today. Because we have Venus and Chiron today, and they are working together to help us become a little bit more vulnerable. We have shields up, we have guards, we have boundaries, and mostly in relationships. And this is the time, if you truly want to fix or heal or repair these type of things, this is the time to do that, because we need to lower our shields. As much as we want to protect ourselves, we need to lower them in this time. But before you lower your shield, this is something that you need to know. Okay, so we have Mars and Pluto, and they are square. What does that mean? It means it's going to create a lot of tension, and it's going to create a lot of tension and anger and frustration within you. So that anger could really rise to the surface today. So make sure that you are aware of your emotions, stay kind of present, because you're gonna want to fight over control. It's either control of a situation or a person. So it's like you're lowering your shields, but you're lowering them enough to create more frustration and anger that you haven't really let go of. And it's coming to the surface because you didn't let go of it. But it's telling you that there's time for growth right now. This is a growing moment. Now that you know what the triggers are, this is the time to fix, heal, and repair them. There's an opportunity for growth. So this is a really good thing. It's going to highlight the things that we're super passionate about. And this is going to help us define what we need to do in order to chase a new dream, in order to form a new reality, especially because you're doing your growth experience right now. You're lowering your shields. You're becoming presently aware of what annoys the fuck out of you, but what you're passionate about. But you need to be presently aware of where your emotions lie, because with fiery frustration and anger, things could definitely get out of sorts. So the key to navigate today is don't go overboard. I repeat, do not go overboard. Be aware. You need to stay heart aligned yet again. What is that passion? What's going to drive you to be able to become comfortable enough, but not set everything on fire as you go into your self-discovery mode. And it's not like you want to explode on other people. Yes, it's wonderful to speak your mind, but if you are verbally abusive because you hold resentment about A, B, and C, and you want to release your throat chakra, and it's not in a sort of nice way, okay? Remember, we're trying to form a new frequency. We're trying to form a new earth. This doesn't mean just because you've been held back for so long that you need to spew all of this stuff on somebody else and take your negative resentment, emotions and transfer them onto somebody else. So creating that welcoming environment. Yeah, I understand that there's trauma at play for all of us. Yes, I totally get it, but you need to let that shit go. You don't need to unleash your throat chakra to the point where, yes, I feel wonderful after I did that. I bet you do. Kudos to you that you feel great, but you did it in the wrong way. Yes, I understand, yet again, situations are complicated and feelings have been hurt and they may have done X, Y, and Z to you. I totally understand that. Not saying it's a good thing or it's validated to even be in those type of situations. What I'm saying is that if you are of a higher frequency, you are a higher mindset, a higher consciousness, you shouldn't go into the blame others, make them feel like shit because they made you feel like shit. That's not how it works. It's more of changing your mindset so that no longer bothers you, where you're focusing on yourself and on your needs so you can become a better person and you can become that example for other people. I don't know. Does any of this make sense? Let me know in the comments how you're feeling with all of the solar activity and the timeout that we're going to have. And beware of Mars and Pluto squaring off today. Love ya.